Hey y'all, it's me Nat here with a speed drawing based off of koi fish. So the materials that I'm using today are a Zentangle tile, as well as General's Kimberly's watercolor watercolor colored pencils. That's a mouthful. And I'll put a link in the description below, but I love these watercolor colored pencils because all you need is just a little bit of water to activate them. So you just color the area that you like, and then you can kind of push and pull the color and blend as you want by just taking a little paintbrush and activating it with some water. And it's really nice because you can have a lot of control. So now that I've let my piece dry, I'm going to go over my general outline, my planning phase with my pencil, with a Micron brush pen. Now I love the Micron brush pen because it allows for a little bit more flow, which we're drawing some koi patterns today. And that allows for some really nice variation in lines. It's really difficult to control. So I'm also using my Micron PN pen to help me get that a little bit more control with my strokes, with my finer lines that I want. But for the general body of the koi fish, I was using a Micron brush pen to just kind of add a little bit of flow to the piece and variety. Because with this piece, we're really just trying to capture the essence of the koi fish. And you might be able to notice underneath, I did have a pencil outline. That was just to make some guideline marks for myself. You can draw onto, as you can see, you can draw ink on top of the watercolor that you've done. But I would recommend that if you're going to do that, you can either use a Zentangle tile or use a Bristol board or watercolor paper. It'll help take in a lot more of that water, a lot more of those marks. And as you can see, I'm filling my koi fish with an abundance of patterns, but also making sure that I kind of balance out the piece with a little bit of patterns, a little bit of blocked in blacks, a little bit of lighter patterns that don't have too much dark or aren't too busy, like Printemps. And this is just to kind of give it a nice zen flow, if you will. And in the background, I'm using those pencil marks, as I mentioned earlier, to really help me make my guiding marks with my ink pen, with my Micron PN pen. Oops, and I made a little bit of a mistake in where I was supposed to color in, but that's okay. But yeah, so I'm making sure to create a really nice dynamic background that isn't too busy. So just kind of a striped background, and it has that kind of flowy match. So I'm trying to make sure that I balance my blacks and whites, my blocks of colors, to try to go with the flow of the watercolor in the background. But pencil marks, especially for more complex pieces like this, really help you break down, especially when you're layering elements on top of each other. I always like to say that pencil marks are kind of our nice wayfinding stations, but they are just guidelines. And the pattern that I'm doing in the background is called Aqua Fleur, which is a really nice kind of pattern to kind of match with the flowiness of the fish. And right now I'm just adding in a little bit of graphite to add a little bit of shadow to the piece, not too much. I'm just going in various places to kind of make everything pop just a little bit more. And I'm making sure to outline and pay a lot of attention to the fish, because I want to make sure that it is the most prominent piece. And also going over with my pen to kind of remark over certain spaces, because I want to make sure that fish really pops above the aqua fleur. And here we have our finished piece of our wonderful little koi fish. So thank you so much for joining me for this speed drawing. You can always find more videos, discounts on workshops, on my Patreon account. So if you'd like to support more of what I do here, consider becoming a member. And until next time, cheers!